everyone! If you're new here, I'm Esther Perez, and if you're not new here, you know I recently got married, and it was a destination wedding in Cancun at Majestic Elegance. So because I went through all of that experience of planning the wedding, I thought it'd be great to do this series all of August with different episodes around planning the destination wedding, a budget, Majestic Elegance review, and things like that. So check out last week's video if you haven't already. It's on specifically planning out, like wanting to have a destination wedding, like the why behind a destination wedding, as well as why Majestic Elegance in Cancun. So it's a really great video, and don't forget to like and subscribe to get more information and more videos, because like I said, I'll be dropping them throughout August with really cool tips and tricks of how to plan the destination wedding, what I would have done differently. And so for today's video, it's tough because I don't even know where to start, because this is probably going to be the hardest, most difficult video I make, because I am still really upset with how this went down. So I made notes on my phone. So if you see me looking down, I'm just trying to get my notes together, because I really could rant about this, but I'm not gonna rant for this video. I really want it to be like precise. I want to come with the facts, but I also want to be mindful. So with this video, it is more so about like next steps. You've decided on destination wedding, so what do you do now? And for me, the next step was a travel coordinator. And so I'll be telling you about how that experience went and a million horror stories. Like, I just cannot say how hard it is to make this video. I feel like my voice is shaking because I'm getting mad as I'm thinking about it. So in the spirit of trying to be a good person, I am not going to say who the travel coordinator was that I ended up booking. I don't need like people sending them hate mail. I don't want to just like blast their information and like ruin their business, because like maybe they've turned it around, maybe they're gonna give someone else a better experience, but this is my experience with them. So although I won't say the travel coordinator's name, I will give the host agency's information. And I will say, if you're really interested in finding out who the travel coordinator was that I had such an awful experience with, feel free to email me. I hope you all know, like, I am more than eager to answer any emails you send me. So send me an email. My email's in my YouTube bio. I will give you that information, but I just don't want to blast it in a YouTube video and then like just ruin that person's like business and life and, you know, way of living and things like that. So I'm going to keep my composure. So, okay, I'm going to start. All right, so you found out you want a destination wedding. Like, you are set in it. You know what you want. You know what budget you're thinking about when it comes to destination wedding. I think it's really important that, like, as soon as you know, like, you're getting married, like, set that budget. Don't look into things before setting that budget, because setting that budget really will keep you aligned as you're going through the planning process. So you want a destination wedding, you have your budget. Your next step is to decide, how are y'all getting there and how are you gonna get in contact with the resort? I was a little, hesitant about getting a travel coordinator, because I had heard that some of them come with outrageous costs, and I knew for the budget being so low, I did not have the extra funds to pay a travel coordinator. I just didn't. And so I thought, okay, maybe I can plan it myself. So I went the route first of trying to plan myself, and that meant me reaching out to resorts to inquire on the wedding date that we were hoping to have. And we did not get any emails back. I don't know if resorts just don't like to work with individuals. I don't know if it's because the date was so far out that they thought like I could just like not email her back right now. To this day, I never got an email back. So I think if you want to go that route of planning it yourself, like, work on having a good contact there, because like I said, like, I really wanted to do that and I couldn't get in contact with anyone at the resort. So feeling defeated and like no one was going to help me, get this wedding together, I decided to go down the avenue of looking for a travel coordinator. Now, a travel coordinator for a wedding is someone that helps you get in contact with the resort as well as gets everyone to this destination seamlessly. And now that could be with booking flights, that could be with booking your stay, making sure that the airport to the resort transfer is set up. And so it could look different depending on like what is the style of destination wedding that you're doing. But for the most part, they are a vendor that is supposed to make your life a lot easier. And so my husband now and I were like, let's look up different travel coordinators. And so we looked into 2 travel coordinators only. And the first one, we'll say travel coordinator A, was one that I worked with before for a girls' trip of 6 people. I thought it went well. Like, they helped us plan the trip. They found us, a very like cheaper deal. It was like, again, Cancun, and it was like flight and stay included. And she kept good communication with everyone in the party. And it was free. I think we paid I think this is a deposit that you get back. And the deposit was maybe like $100, if that. And so that's one that we looked into. And then we'll call this person travel agent B. And travel agent B, we had not heard of. It was someone from like one of those wedding websites when it came to looking at like travel coordinators. I scheduled a call with them and let them know like we really just wanted to know the price of their services, because for us that's the most important piece of it. And so when we set up a call with travel coordinator B, we met on a Zoom and she told us about her business and we were like, great, like good to know, like nice to meet you. And then she asked us for like our love story. We told her how we met. And then she said, okay, like any questions for me? And I'm like, yeah, like what is the price? Like it felt very like she wasn't trying to get to the price. And so she said, oh, like I have a presentation. I'm going to go through the presentation first and then we'll talk about price. And so she had this like 40 minute presentation. And then at the end, she tells us that it's $2,000 for her services of destination like wedding travel coordinator. And for me, it felt very like salesperson pitch type. And that is not how you win me over, unfortunately. Like, I don't want to feel like I'm wasting my time. I don't want you to act like you don't want to talk about money, because like that's what we're all here for. Like, I need it straight to the point. I need you to tell me what I want to know, and let me get going. Let me get moving, because like I'm on this destination to plan this destination wedding. And so I think right off the bat it like rubbed me wrong. And then for it to be $2,000 with a budget for the wedding of $20,000, it was like, well, great. Now that leaves us with $18,000 for the wedding. Now, I will say, in comparing the two, travel coordinator A was pretty much free. I worked with her before. Yes, she seemed a little unprofessional when we met with her together to talk about this destination wedding, but she assured us she has planned destination weddings before, that she would be communicating with the guest, that guests could make payment plans, and that she would make the website. Now, travel agent B was like, I would say very professional, had a platform we could look at to see who's paid and who's still paying on it, payment plan as well, and she also makes the website. And so it just seemed like with the different pros and cons for each, the $2,000 did not entice us to pay with what we were going to get when we would be getting similar services with travel agent A. So as you might be getting the vibe, we went with travel agent A because, like I said, the services didn't vary too much, and it was either $0 or $2,000. And so we're like, we're going to go with $0 because like this is a no-brainer. Weddings are expensive. We're trying to put all of the money towards the actual wedding itself and not like the coordination getting us there. Regrets. There were many red flags that I saw and ignored. And I was just giving my friend some like wedding planning, unsolicited wedding planning of advice the other day, and she's having her wedding here in Ohio, and she was like talking about it, and I was like, if you get a red flag from any vendor, cut it. Cut it right then and there. Do not be like me. I ignored so many red flags. And this vendor is going to be like with you either all day of the wedding or up until the wedding. And you just don't want to look back and just like think like me, like this could have gone so much better. Red flags I ignored. There were green flags I ignored. Travel agent B had a whole platform. Like her system was like very technologically advanced, and so we could see like on that platform like who paid what, and like it very much was keeping us in the loop a lot better and giving us updates better. Ignored that because I did not want to pay the 2K. In looking for a good travel agent or travel coordinator, make sure you're reviewing things like their communication style, what tools and software they're using. Do they offer payment plans? Will they be communicating with the guest? Will they be sending you updates? You want them to have all of that ironed out and come to you like presenting all of that information. It should never feel like you're chasing the stuff, because that's like what it felt like I was doing the entire time. Like, what about this person? Or this person says they haven't heard from you. Like, can you contact them? It was just like very negative the entire time. When you plan a destination wedding, you might hear from someone like your travel agent regarding credits. And credits, like we had not really heard about up until we started planning our own wedding. For the destination wedding, because you're going to have so many people stay the night at that resort, you often get credits back as like a thank you for having that many guests stay X amount of nights at the resort. And the travel coordinator let us know those credits come back to you after the wedding. It can be anywhere, ranging in amounts, but they said typically like it could be like, I don't know, like 500 to like 3K back in credits. So it's just money back, like they're crediting you for getting that many people there. Now, we had inquired about like, what if we don't want credits? Like we were very adamant on like, how can we make this as cheap as possible for our guests to go? And so we inquired on, can we say like we don't want credits and they just lower the price of the hotel rooms? And unfortunately they said no. And so we said, okay, we'll I guess there's nothing we can do about the credits. And the travel agent was like really like adamant on like, you want everyone to book through my link so that you can get credits. There was one point where the travel agent was not responding quick enough to my own brother, who obviously needed to go to the wedding. And I remember sending her an email like, can you get in contact with him and respond to book his hotel, because like he's my brother and he has to be there. And if not, like let me know, because I found a similar deal on Southwest Vacations, which is a flight included as well, and we'll just book this for him. And she was like, no, he won't be able to go to the wedding. Like, you really want him to book under this link so we can get credits. And like looking back now, I really think like she was more determined on like getting her money, her cut, because also travel agents get paid on the back end from the resort. The resort cuts them part of the deal because like they helped get people there. And so I think for her, she just really wanted people to book under this link so that she can also get like that credit for herself. And she like didn't really understand that we didn't care about us getting money back or her getting money from the resort. Like we cared more about people getting there and having a good service. And it just seemed like service was something like last on her priority list. So it is now August 2025. We got married in April of 2025. We have seen no credits. No credits. Not that we absolutely need them, but for having 62 people go to Cancun, we got no credits from our travel agent. So, and we haven't heard from her at all about these credits. And she emailed us saying that she was going to send us them, never sent them. Now, let's rewind back to leading up to the wedding. There were people complaining that she was not communicating with them, that she was not properly sending the payment links, The website ended up not working anymore. Like literally after like I think a month of having the website up, it didn't work to like register your room and set up the payments. Didn't work. So they had to go through her and give like their card number to her over the phone. It was awful. I really need like I need to go live for like an hour long rant session because this like 10 to 15-minute video, 20-minute video is not going to cover how horrible she was and how many stories I have about how awful she was. So then let's go to like I think a week before the wedding. She emails us because we hadn't heard from her, mind you, and says like, sorry, I haven't been able to like respond. My phone's been broken. Mind you, that was her best excuse. Like she just kept always saying her phone was broken and she wasn't getting phone calls from people. But she says, I've been dealing with harassment issues, so I've been not able to respond. And then she says that her host agency, who was Classic Vacations, dropped her, so she's no longer with them, but that all of the information from our wedding guest has been sent to the hotel, so we should be all set. And I remember reading this at night, like laying in bed next to Dion, and I'm like, what? Like, what did I just read? I go online and I start looking her up. And yeah, she was being harassed because she was planning people's vacations, taking their money, and then ghosting and not responding to them. There were people that were planning, I think it was like a bachelor trip, and they said that she planned the trip, but then like stopped responding to them after taking their money. And it was like a group of like 6, I think, people. And they had created a whole Facebook group about how awful she was. Like there was a Facebook group with her picture and her business name. And it was like how awful she is, what her home address is, how she stole money from them. And like it was insane. And like I just, honestly, I felt like not alone. But at the same time, I'm like, how are we getting conned by this person right now? The entire time, I just like told Dion, like, I'm so sorry that I even pitched this person. I thought because I worked with them before, like, that she was gonna be better. I would have paid $2,000. I would have gone with the other travel coordinator. If I can look back now and like, you know, decide like what I would have done differently to make this experience better, 100% would have just paid the $2,000 and gone with someone else who was more professional, who had better tools and software, who had better communication. I was exhausted. And so now it's the week of the wedding and people are getting email updates of like what they should know before the wedding. Mind you, we didn't get transfer information, which the transfer is from the airport to the hotel, like what's going to happen when you're in Cancun. We didn't get that information until maybe like 2 to 3 days in advance. So obviously a week before, people are like, well, wait, like what's going on? How do we know about like what van we're going to get in? And so the information came really delayed. Once we got there, we realized the resort had different check-in and check-out dates than like what the guests had planned. There were a couple guests that think they got charged for an extra room night. Some could change their flight and stay the extra day. Others couldn't. And so it was an awful experience. I think the majority of our guests could say at least once that she did not respond to an email and they had to double check with her. Now, the host agency Classic Vacations, I think were the ones that like got rid of her the week before our wedding. I think because of all the noise people made online about her and probably called them, that's why they had to get rid of her. She was just not helpful when it came to mitigating different concerns and issues. A lot of our guests and us had to do things like on our own once there. Like we very much felt like alone. And not to mention, it just felt like a big money grab for her, which in the long run like just feels awful, because I would imagine, or I would hope, someone gets into that industry specifically for destination wedding travel because they truly have a passion for travel and making someone's wedding experience a wonderful one. And it just didn't not seem like that whatsoever. Like it really seemed seemed like a money grab and like just another day of like scamming for this person. Honestly. So I feel like I have so much more to say, but I also don't want to seem like mad or spiteful. Like I really want to move on from this. And I think by moving on from this, it's me giving you information, and hopefully you all during this destination wedding planning process do differently than I did. So the rest of the wedding, like everything else was wonderful, like everything else, but just this portion of like everything when it comes to the communications and like just how bad she was like taking for responding to people, like miserable. And the bad thing is your travel coordinator vendor is the one that is with you the entire time. It is not just for that wedding day. It's not just for that wedding week. It is from the time you're planning it and you know you're going to get married and what the date is and where you want to have it to execution fully. So if you're watching this and you're like, okay, I want to get married, I want a destination wedding, like what are my next steps? Get a travel coordinator that has a passion for destination weddings, that has great software and tools and professional style, like they are running a legit business. 3, just do a lot of searching. Don't go with someone that you know just because you know them. Don't go with the first person that gives you the price that's right. Like talk to different wedding vendors, wedding coordinators, talk to different travel people, like just search around, do a lot of homework on them. Finding the right travel agent for your destination wedding is so important. I just cannot say it enough. So that's how I'm gonna wrap up this video. I hope it was helpful. I know a lot of it was me just like yapping and ranting, but I do think it's important to learn from like my bad experience and my negative experiences, because then you're not gonna repeat them, right? You're all gonna have a better experience with your travel agent. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I'm not going to post like who the person is that was my travel agent for the destination wedding, but like I said, if you're like, oh no, like I don't want to book them, so or I'm scared I already booked them, or I'm having a similar experience, email me and we can talk about it. My email is in my YouTube bio. I'm like more than eager to answer questions. And I wish you all the best of luck if you're planning a destination wedding. I know it's going to be amazing. You're going to have so much fun. So good luck with it. And if you're someone who's hoping to plan one in the future, I hope this was helpful. So thanks again for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.